Good afternoon, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google+. This is Rich again, back for your second video blog of the day for Friday, March 4th, 2016, around 5:46 in the afternoon in Billerica, Massachusetts. It was a cloudy day out. There were some snowflakes, some big ones. Some places got a coating to 2 inches. There was a major accident on Route 93 South around 10 in the morning when there was a big snow squall that shut down 93 for a while. Some news to report. Boston Red Sox beat the Tampa Bay Rays by a score of 7-2 in preseason action in Florida. Also, Ben Simmons from LSU, Louisiana State University, is rumored to be getting a sneaker deal worth $100 million. Ben Simmons is potentially the number 1 pick in this year's NBA draft. $100 million for somebody still in college is amazing. We'll see if he's a good pro, but they're hyping him to be the next big star in the NBA. We'll wait and see about that. And 2 sad news items to report before my next video blog. 2 passings to tell you. First is Bud Collins, longtime tennis writer, and also he was a columnist for the Boston Globe. He passed away at the age of 86, so prayers to him. And the creator of R2-D2, Tony Dyson, passed away at the age of 69. So prayers to both of their families. And that's about it on the news. My second video blog subject of the day is about the classic TV game show Match Game Hollywood Squares Hour. It was a classic. They got 2 classic game shows, merged them into one. The first half they played the Match Game, and the second half they played Hollywood Squares. And it ran on NBC from October 31st, 1983 through July 27th, 1984, approximately 9 months. Hosting the Match Game part of Match Game Hollywood Squares Hour was Gene Rabin, and hosting the Hollywood Squares version of Match Game Hollywood Squares Hour was John Bowser Bowman, and announcing it was Gene Wood, and substitute guest announcers were Johnny Olsen, Rich Jeffries, and Bob Hilton. It was produced by Mark Goodson Productions and Orion Pictures Television, which owned the rights to Hollywood Squares. And this was an hour-long game show. And the premise of this game show was there were 2 contestants on Match Game, and the winner of that faced off against the champion for the Hollywood Squares version. They played Match Game the same as the 70s version of Match Game. They had 3 rounds to match as many celebrities as they can, and they had John Bowman as a regular panelist on Match Game, of this Match Game, and if there was a case of a tie, they had a tiebreaker, and they would give 1 or possible 4 answers for blank this. And if they would pick out the celebrities which one they selected. If they matched it right, they would break the tie, and they would go on to the Hollywood Squares part, and to face champion. John Bowman hosted the Hollywood Squares version of this Match Game Hollywood Squares Hour, and they had Gene Rabin be a regular on Hollywood Squares version, plus they would add 3 more celebrities. And each game was at least $25 each square, and if they won a game, the contestants won a game, they would get $100, and it would get bigger with each progressive round. But there was no secret squares in this game, in this version of Hollywood Squares, and it was mostly true, false, and multiple choice answers. There were no bluff answers, and there was one other rule which was a little bit controversial. If like a contestant was trying to block another contestant, if they got like 3 in a row, up, down, or diagonally, and if they missed a question, then the opponent would automatically win the game. In all of the other Hollywood Squares versions, if the contestant was unsuccessful for the block, they couldn't give that square to that other contestant. They would have to earn it themselves. So that was a little bit not good. And they had the winner of that would be declared a champion, and then they would go to Super Match. And Super Match would be played like the regular one for the bonus round. And they would have 3 popular answers with blank discs. And they would have it from like $250, $500, and $1,000. And they got to keep whatever the money they won for like the bonus round. But they could double it, or up to 30 times that amount, which a possibility of $30,000 if the contestant got it right. And if they did, they could win $30,000 potentially. And Match Game Hollywood Squares Hour was from 3 to 4 p.m. weekdays on NBC, but many NBC stations pre-upped it, and it was not seen in Boston on WBZ TV4. It was actually shown on WQTV 68. I remember WBZ TV4 not showing this because they showed reruns of The Love Boat. But I think it was more money for them to show reruns of The Love Boat than Match Game Hollywood Squares Hour. And Match Game's Hollywood Squares Hour was, the Match Game version was okay, because Gene Rabin was the best of hosting Match Game, but John Bowman as a game show host, he wasn't that great. And plus with the rules of like the Hollywood Squares with like no bluff questions and no secret square, and the game by default, if you could lose a game without earning the square, that really hurt. Plus, very few of the Match Game regulars or Hollywood Squares regulars appeared on this game on Match Game Hollywood Squares Hour. I think Charles Nelson Riley appeared on 7 weeks worth of show, and Fannie Flagg on a couple of weeks of shows. And the Hollywood Squares, the only person was George Gobel. He appeared maybe 1 or 2 twice, but there was no Rosemary at all. And many of the celebrities were like B or C level celebrities. Most of them I didn't even hear of until I saw them on the Match Games Hollywood Squares Hour. But they had some theme weeks of all NBC soap stars, and they had Leave It to Beaver Week, and they had a few game show hosts appear, including Bob Eubanks and Chuck Woolley and Bill Cullen and Pat Sajak. They even had Arsenio Hall and Jay Leno on this show as well. And it was only on for 9 months until it got canceled, replaced by a soap opera, Santa Barbara. Reruns of the Match Game Hollywood Squares were never shown, because it was first cross-ownership between Goodson Todman Productions and Orion Television, which would be very hard to do. And there was a second rumor going around that Gene Rabin did not like working with John Bowman, and there was some urban legend that says that in Gene's contract that reruns of Match Games Hollywood Squares Hour would never be shown again. And even the original host, the master of the Hollywood Squares, Peter Marshall, said in an interview years ago that he was happy that Match Game Hollywood Squares was not successful. In fact, he wanted a host of Hollywood Squares version of like Match Games Hollywood Squares Hour, but they didn't call. But I think maybe why they didn't call, because the show that Match Games Hollywood Squares replaced was Fantasy, which was on NBC, hosted by Peter Marshall and Leslie Uggams, which probably is going to be a future video blog. I think NBC did not want to bring back Peter Marshall after the show was canceled. And I've seen Match Game's Hollywood Squares a few times when I was younger and on YouTube. Kind of like the Match Game version, but like I didn't really care too much about the Hollywood Squares. Gene Rabin should have hosted the whole entire hour himself. And that's about it on that. Be back with the third and final video blog of the night, which will be about former WWE wrestler, One Man Gang, aka Akeem. Keep calm, everybody! I'm a truly budding guy. Molly Rose Blood of WCCR Wax and has nice legs. Elizabeth Hutt's so stunning. She's the best. Amy Swenzy of Reach 2 rocks, and she's got nice legs as well. Bob Gibbs of ABC 11 has that sweet southern accent. Don Mitchell of Fox 9 rocks. And Lisa Hillary of Nesson is so awesome. And in the words of Jim Ross, WWE Hall of Famer, and business is about to pick up. Good night. See you later.